dear. Do you ever have one of those years where everything seems to go wrong? Well, guess what? I'm having one of them today. It's a little bit like Sunday, to be honest, but it's today, and I don't know what is happening. It's very strange, isn't it? Have you noticed sometimes in life things go wrong, and you're not quite sure why, but then you realise it's just because you are having one of those years. And that's what I feel like I'm having at the moment. I've just literally started my live stream and I've realised one of my cameras is not working and I don't know why. It's very strange. It's never happened before. Okay, let's be honest. It happens all the time. Here we go then. Let's see what happens here. This should be interesting. Welcome to English Addict, coming to you live from the birthplace of English, which is, well, of course, it is England. You see? I'm right. I'm so right. I'm having one of those days. This should be interesting. It might not work. No, it's not working. I'm not there. Why? I should be on the screen now, but I'm not. And I don't know how that's happening. I'm there, but I'm not on the screen. You know what? Sometimes I just think sometimes I should just go back to bed after Sunday as well. Because I had a problem on Sunday, didn't I, as well with my camera. And now it's doing the same thing again, and I have no idea why. There is something very strange going on here, and I'm just going to see if I can find out what it is. I'm just going to do a couple of things. I'm going to get this right. No, it's very weird, very strange. Okay, let's see if I can correct this somehow. Okay, I'm going to get this to work. No. Very weird. How strange. Am I a ghost? Am I a ghost? Because I'm in front of the camera now and I can't be seen and I don't know why. This might be the strangest thing that's ever happened on my live stream. And I have to be honest, we have some really strange things happening here sometimes. And it's not working. I am supposed to be on your screen now, but I'm not. It's very weird. This might be the most interesting thing that's ever happened. And I have no idea how it is happening, but for some strange reason, I'm not on camera. So just a moment. Let's see if we can sort this out. I'm going to sort this out. Don't worry. It's all right. Don't go away. How strange. How weird. Okay. I wonder if it's working now. Oh, it is! Everyone, it's working. I've got it to work. Sometimes these things happen. It's okay, don't worry. Sometimes these things do occur. Hello, everyone. Again. Welcome, again, to English Addict, live from England. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Can we? Can we just pretend that did not occur? Okay then. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I hope you are feeling happy today. Well, that was strange. That's never happened before. I was supposed to be here like this, but then I wasn't here like this. Something decided to lock up. I don't know what it is recently about my technology. My computer is working all right, but it's other things. And by that I mean my software. So your computer can be really, really good. But if your software has a problem, then you will also have problems from time to time. Anyway, I am here. My name is Duncan. There it is again on the screen. I talk about the English language, and sometimes everything works. Only sometimes. Thank you very much for joining me. Yes, we are back together. First of all, I suppose I should mention Sunday. Sunday, very busy day for various reasons. I had a couple of strange moments and I had to leave my live stream. I had some news concerning Mr. Steve's mother. A lot of people asking about Mr. Steve's mum. Would you like to see a photograph of Mr. Steve's mother, myself and Mr. Steve? Okay then, there it is. Ooh. And there we are looking very happy. And that was taken last year. So that particular photograph I'm showing you now was taken last year. And there is Mr. Steve, Mr. Steve's mother, looking very happy, and also myself spoiling the photograph completely. Thank you for your good wishes. You will be pleased to hear that Mr. Steve's mum is feeling much better. She had a little problem on Sunday, was taken to hospital. Fortunately, they did not have to keep her in the hospital. You'll be pleased to hear. So that's good. Good news all round, I think. Here we go then. We have made it successfully all the way to the middle of the week, although between you and me, things are a little bit crazy here in the UK for various reasons, which I might mention later on. Yes, it's Wednesday. Yes, we are here. Eventually. Sometimes things don't go right, but you know what I always say? It proves that this is live. And now you know. It is definitely 100% live, because when things go wrong, you know it is live, as live can be. I've got some lovely photographs to show you today. I'm also going to talk about a Brazilian TV program that was on in the 1990s, especially for children. Something I accidentally found on YouTube. We'll be talking about that later on. Also, we're talking about tips. Tips. Tip is a word that can be used in many ways. The sharp point of something can be described as a tip. Also, as a verb, if you tip something, it means you turn something over. You cause something to tip over or fall over. The word tip can also be used as a noun and a verb in another way when you are offering money as a way of thanking someone for good service. So that is what we are talking about today. And in some countries, it is polite to give a tip to someone. You are giving money to someone to say thank you for their good service. Also today, we are taking a look at words and expressions connected to the mouth. Mouth, words and phrases coming up later on as well. Lots of things to come your way, including the live chat. Yes, we have the live chat as well. Who was first? Oh, very interesting. We have Nitram. Guess what, Nitram? You are first on today's live chat. The weather, not too bad. It's dry. We don't have any rain. Fortunately, no rain. It is a little cloudy, but at least it's not raining, and it's also quite warm as well. Not as warm as last week, but around 23 Celsius here today. I know in some parts of the world the temperatures are incredibly high, including Japan. I've been following the news stories coming from Japan about how hot it is there. Also in certain parts of the United States, very hot. Here, not so hot, is what you were waiting for. Congratulations, Nitram, you are first. We also have Mosen. Hello, Mosen. Thanks for joining me today. We have Vitas. I'm very sorry, Vitas. You are third on today's live chat, unfortunately. Beatrice is here. Also Zadzika, Mosen. Hello, Mosen. Nice to see you here today. Paolo. Also, we have... Who else is here? Oh, we have... Luis Mendez is here today. Hello, Luis. Thank you very much for your lovely message as well, the email you sent concerning Mr. Steve's mother. She is feeling much better. She's not 100%, but she is feeling much better. She is being taken care of by Mr. Steve's sister at the moment. So she is making sure that Mr. Steve's mother and her mother is being kept care of. And of course, last week, if you remember last week, Mr. Steve's mother was staying here with us. And she was here for 10 days, staying here. And, well, that was also a little bit eventful as well. If something is eventful, it means things are happening during that period of time. But Mr. Steve's mother is on the mend as far as we can tell. I think Steve is actually going over to see his mother this weekend. So I think we might be popping over next weekend to see Mr. Steve's mother to make sure she's okay. Also, we have on the live chat Huang. Hello, Huang Nguyen. Thank you very much for joining us as well. Mika is here. I can join you for about 30 minutes. Hello, Mika. I hope you are staying cool where you are. Are you being affected by the intense heat at the moment in Japan? We also have Sandra Gonzalez is here today. Hello, Sandra. Nice to see you here as well. We have Claudia. Hello, Claudia. What's cooking, Claudia? What have you got in your pot? What's cooking, Claudia? Is it something spicy and hot? Is it something salty or not? Oh, Claudia, what is in the pot? What is in the pot today, Claudia? What are you having for your lunch or evening dinner, maybe? Hello, Nitram. Nitram says, have you tried turning it off and on again? That is something everyone says. If you have a problem with your computer, people always say, have you tried turning it off and on again? Can I just say that rarely works? Rarely. Almost never. Especially if your computer will not switch off. Sometimes your computer can be so damaged it will actually not switch off. You have to disconnect the power supply to make it stop working, which is not good for your computer, by the way. Never disconnect the electricity from your computer whilst it is running, because you can cause even more damage. And you don't want that, really, do you? I don't think so. But yes, you are right. A lot of people say you should switch your thing off and then turn it back on again. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Ricardo, Hello, Ricardo. If you are feeling a little bit blue, try to think in the age when you didn't have any concern because your parents cared for you and you only have to play. That was a wonderful world. Why can't you repeat that again? Well, I suppose memories. I always find memories very interesting things, especially from your childhood, because quite often we will not remember the past in the way that it actually happened. Sometimes we will change our memories. Not consciously, we don't know we're doing them, but sometimes we will just misremember. We misremember our memories. So sometimes you might think, years ago everything was much better than it is today. And let's be honest, a lot of people are saying that at the moment for various reasons that I won't go into at the moment. But yes, I think quite often we think of the past as always being better than it actually was. I have lovely memories from my childhood. I also have some not so nice memories from my childhood. But you are right. I think most of us at some point wish that we could go back in time to the early days when things were so much better and maybe simpler, perhaps. Inarki is here. Hello, Inarki. I hope I will have better luck with the technology. Oh, I see. Are you having problems as well with your technology? It is something that happens a lot. Hello, Christina. Thank you for your concern about Mr. Steve's mother. She is much better. Did you enjoy the photograph of Mr. Steve's mother that I showed earlier? Yeah. I have some more photographs coming in a few moments as well, so don't go away. Hello also to 100 DOB. Thank you for joining me today. Kadir. Hello, Kadir, watching in Turkey. Hello, Turkey, a country that I know quite well because I've been there in the past. So what is in the oven? Claudia, what do you have cooking in the oven or in the pot? Do you have something nice planned today? Please let us know. Hello also to Palmyra. Hello, Palmyra. Thank you very much for joining me today. Mosen says, Mr. Duncan, remembering your past quite often is described as nostalgia. Yes, we often think of the past as being something lovely, nice. Maybe everything is golden, beautiful colours, and everything was perfect. So I remember growing up, my parents and my grandparents especially, would always say, it was much better in our day. It was much better. We had better times. People were much nicer to each other. When I was young, the children were always well behaved. I'm not sure how true that is. Or was. But yes, it is something that the older generation often say. They often say, kids today, they don't know they're born. Children today, they're so bad-mannered, they are rude to their parents. But the strange thing is, my grandparents used to say the same thing many, many years ago about young people, and I was young during that time. So they were basically talking about me. And I was a good child. I was a very good boy when I was a child. I was. What? You don't believe me? Okay. Please yourself. Christina. Oh, hello, Christina. Today I have cooked spaghetti. Oh, very nice. Apparently it's called guitar spaghetti. I wonder why. maybe it is long and stringy, perhaps. Sandra says, Mr. Duncan, it is very nice to see that you have 1 million subscribers. It is nice. I wish I had 1 million viewers. I wish I actually had 1 million people watching. I suppose that's the frustrating part of all this. I think so. Inarki says, yes, I think sometimes older people have a bad memory. I think it is a way of comforting ourselves. We always like to think that the past was better than the present because it makes us feel, I suppose it makes us feel reassured in some strange way. We often think that if the past was nice, then maybe the future will be nice as well. So maybe it is a way of reassuring ourselves to make us feel as if the future will be good, even if things don't seem good at this present time. So maybe it is a way of doing that. Hello also. Oh, hello, Nitish Pal, who is watching in India, another place that has been suffering intense heat. 40. I think in some parts of India it's been as hot as 45 Celsius. I can't even imagine what that feels like. I think the hottest place I've ever been to is Malaysia. I used to go to Malaysia quite a lot, and the average temperature there is normally around 33 or 34 Celsius. So I think that's the hottest place I've ever been to. The coldest place I've ever been to or lived in must be when I was in China during the winter months. It would go as low as around minus 19 Celsius, 19 degrees below freezing. And it was very cold. I never used to like the winter months when I was living in China. They were always rather unpleasant, to say the least, especially when it was very cold and windy, and I had to ride my bicycle to school. It wasn't much fun, I can tell you. Oh, hello, Beyond Awake is here. Hello to you as well. Claudia says, I had a nightmare during the night. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you feel better now. I dreamt that there was a war here, a very ugly nightmare, and then I woke up and I thought of Ukraine and how the people are suffering there. Well, I suppose so. Not everyone has that experience. I've never been in an experience. I've never been in a situation or had an experience where war was taking place around me. I can't even imagine what it must be like. But I know one thing, it is not fun. Definitely not. Luis Mendez, I always love taking a walk down memory lane. It is nice to remember things. In fact, we were doing that last week when Steve's mother was here staying with us. We did talk a lot about the past. And because Mr. Steve's mother is not young, she is 8 years away from 100. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get into trouble now. I am going to get into so much trouble. Hello, A. Gangadhar. Hello, I love you, Duncan. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say as well. We are talking about giving tips. So maybe if you are in a restaurant or a place where service is being provided and then you pay for the meal or the thing that you've been given, maybe you want to give a little bit of extra money. And we often call that a tip. Tip. You hand over a little bit of extra money because you are so grateful for the good service. Palmyra says, on Monday I went to the beach and the temperature of the weather was higher than the weather. We were swimming a lot. Well, I suppose if you go to the beach, you might find that there is a different type of air, or maybe the temperature or the air pressure will be different. I can't remember the last time I went to the beach. I think it was quite a long time ago. When was it? It must have been 4 years ago. I think so. That was the last time I went to the beach. A very long time ago. Mr. Steve and myself, we had quite a lot of fun there, to be honest. Very nice. And there it was, a lovely memory from the time Mr. Steve and myself went to the beach. And yes, we were playing like children. This is English Addict coming to you live from what is left of the UK. Dramatic events taking place at the moment concerning this chap. Can you see him there? Normally I have a picture of Mr. Steve, but today, as a special guest of dishonour, someone else. Things are a little interesting at the moment when we talk about politics, which I don't very often, but we are having a very strange situation take place here at the moment concerning our government. I'm sure you've heard all about it. Some photographs. I want to show you some photographs. Would you like to have a look at some pictures? Well, here we go. Here is one of them. A lovely photograph from Claudia. Claudia has been very busy in the kitchen making something that I also happen to like eating. Jaffa cakes. So these are not Jaffa cakes from the shop. These are actually Jaffa cakes that Claudia made herself in the kitchen. And I have to say, they look lovely. I really do want to take a bite of one of your homemade Jaffa cakes. Shall we take a closer look? Okay then. Oh my goodness. That looks delicious. I have to be honest with you, Claudia. That really does look nice. I want to take a bite from your homemade Jaffa cake. I really do. That looks very nice. So you made it with oranges, sponge and also chocolate on the top. Dark chocolate, I think. Finally, a photograph of Claudia enjoying the aforementioned Jaffa cakes. I like the look of those. I will be honest with you. I do like them. They look lovely. And I wish I could try one, but I can't because I'm too far away. It's not fair. Maybe someday, maybe one day I will get the chance to sample one of your lovely Jaffa cakes, Claudia. Thank you very much for sending that photograph and all of the photographs. Thank you very much. Hello to Duchess. Hello, Duchess. I love your name, by the way. Are you really a Duchess? Are you? Are you really? Or are you just pretending to be one? Sandra says, your food looks lovely. Very nice. Yes, thank you very much. I'm always interested to see what type of food you eat, to be honest. Because sometimes maybe if you are in the kitchen and you are cooking something unusual or special, I always like to see what it is you are making. Maybe I could get some ideas of my own. Maybe I could become more creative in the kitchen. It is one of my wishes. I really do want to become more creative in the kitchen because I'm not a good cook. My father, for many years, worked as a professional chef. He was actually very good when he was working as a chef, cook, very good at it. In fact, for a while, he had his own business, catering for people's special events, weddings, birthdays, bar mitzvahs, everything. Hello also to... who else is here? Alessandra is here. I'm very sorry, Mr. Duncan, but my PC suddenly switched off. It does happen sometimes. Maybe there isn't enough memory in your computer. Perhaps your processor was overheating. It was getting too hot. There are many things that can cause your computer to suddenly switch off. It is true. Hello, Hamda Mayeed. Thank you very much for joining me today. Unique Life Design is here as well. Thank you very much for joining me today. In a few moments, we are going to look at our first subject today, which is all about giving tips. Do you ever give a tip? Do you ever offer money when you receive good service from a waitress or a waiter? Or maybe in a certain place where a service has been given and you want to show your appreciation? Well, in a few moments we will be talking all about that. But first, it's time to take a look at those lovely, lovely cows. We are back. It is English Addict live from England. We are back. It's very nice to be with you today. We had a few technical problems at the start, but now we are here, 100%. Talking of percent, did you see what I did there? Very, very good. You see, I don't just make this up as I go along. Sometimes I have some lovely ideas in my brain, and that was a good example of one of those ideas. Percentage. We often give, or sometimes we might give, a percentage of the bill when we are being served in a restaurant by a waitress or waiter. And quite often we want to show our appreciation of their service. And that is what we are talking about for now. For the next few minutes, we are talking all about giving tips. Oh, very nice. So first of all, I think it's fair to mention what a tip actually is. So we are doing that right now. A tip is an extra payment given as a sign of appreciation for good service. So when a person gives you very good service, maybe in a cafe or restaurant, you receive good service. You might want to give some extra money as a way of showing your thanks or your appreciation for the good service. So when you get the bill like this, you might leave a tip as well. Last week we went for a lovely meal. We had a lovely meal last week with Mr. Steve's mother right here in Much Wenlock. We went to a lovely place called The Raven, and the service was excellent. We had a very nice meal, excellent food, a gorgeous sweet. I had creme brulee. Have you ever tried creme brulee? It's a very unusual type of dessert, very unusual. Apparently they have to set fire to it. Very strange. But at the end of the meal, we were so happy, and Mr. Steve must have been in a very good mood because Steve gave a tip to the waitress, a very helpful young lady who was really polite and nice, and we felt quite overwhelmed because, of course, we were with Mr. Steve's mother, and she took very good care of us. Mr. Steve gave £10 as a tip. £10. He gave the young lady £10 to show his appreciation because he was so overwhelmed by her kindness. So sometimes you might give a tip. We might also describe a tip as a gratuity. Gratuity is something you are giving as an extra bonus. So when we talk about bonus, something extra, maybe an extra payment, we often describe it as a gratuity. You can also use the word tip as well. A tip is usually a percentage of the total bill. So that's what I said earlier when I mentioned percentage. 100% of this. But quite often when we give a tip to a waiter or a waitress or for some other service, you might give a certain percentage. Some people say 5%. So if your bill is £100, you will give 5% of that as the tip. Some people are very generous when they give their tips. They might give 10% or 15% or even 20%. So what about where you are? What about in your country? Do you give tips? I know in some places it is seen as rude or bad manners to actually give a tip. So what about you? If you are going somewhere, if you are in a restaurant, maybe in your country, perhaps people don't do it. Maybe in some places they don't. Here in England, I'm going to talk about England because that's the thing I have the most experience of, living in England. We often do leave tips. Maybe £1, maybe a couple of pounds, maybe £5, or like Mr. Steve, £10. But there is no real rule. I have to be honest here. There is no actual rule for giving tips. So you don't have to. But there are situations where you might give some sort of tip or gratuity to a waiter, waitress, or maybe a person who is helping you to carry your bags to your hotel room. If you are staying at a very posh hotel, quite often you have to give a tip. So sometimes it is expected, but other times it is not. So quite often it is your choice. You don't have to give a tip. But if you are staying in a place that is posh, expensive, quite often it is expected. So when you go to the room and your porter or the bellboy or bell girl, bell person, I'm not quite sure what the correct pronoun is there, boy, girl, person, the bell person. Okay, I'm going to stick with bell person, the bell person who helps you up to your room. They might also need a small gratuity or tip. So you might give them £5 or maybe £10, depending on how expensive the hotel room is. So I always think if you stay in a place that is expensive, it might be always expected. A tip will be expected. However, sometimes they won't. Lewis says, in France, the tip is usually between 10 and 15% of the bill. I would say that that's about right. Yes, I think here we do roughly the same thing. So 10%, sometimes 15%. And if they are very generous indeed, they might give you 20% of the bill as a tip. Quite often also you will find maybe in a shop or a restaurant or a small cafe. I know we have them here in Much Wenlock. We have some very small cafes. And when you pay, there is a small jar or a container, and that is called a tip jar. So you can leave a little bit of extra money in the tip jar. And then at the end of the day, that money is divided between the staff. However, a big controversy over the years has been how tips are actually divided between the staff, or whether the owner of the business is entitled to take the tip and then give it back to the employees in a very small amount. So it has been something that has been discussed quite a lot over the years, quite a lot. It is true. Oh, hello, Jimmy from Hong Kong. Thank you very much for your tip. You see, very generous. Thank you very much. Jimmy from Hong Kong asks, could you share your staycation experience if you have? How do you pronounce the word grandeur? Grandeur. Well, some people say grandeur, some people say grandeur, grandeur, or grandeur. You are living or staying in a place that is opulent, maybe a palace, maybe you are being treated to a 5-star hotel. I've never stayed at a 5-star hotel, although I have stayed at a place that was almost 5-star, and that was when I was in Portugal with Mr. Steve, and we had a holiday, a free holiday, and we stayed in the most amazing place in Portugal, and it was, well, I would say it was very posh, very nice, a lovely place. It was like living in another world. I've always wondered what it must be like to be rich. And I can safely say, during my time in Portugal, when I was staying there with Mr. Steve, and it didn't cost us anything. It was free. Incredible. But it was nice. It was nice to enjoy that. The word grandeur, yes, something opulent, something posh, something sophisticated, a place, a restaurant, a hotel. You are enjoying the grandeur of the sophisticated life. Not everyone can have that, including me. Even though people still think that I'm rich, but I'm not. I can tell you now. Definitely not. My hand on my heart and my other hand on my pancreas, I can safely say that I am not rich. I am £1 million short of becoming a millionaire, which means I'm not a millionaire. But thank you very much for thinking that I am. It's very kind of you. I take that as a compliment. Very nice of you. So to answer your question, Jimmy, yes, I have had experiences of staying in the UK. So when we talk about staycation, it is a way of expressing a holiday that you take in your own country. So, for example, I don't leave the UK, I stay in the UK. So I'm staying in the place where I live normally, the country or the area. A staycation, it's a great word. So it is a combination of the word stay, which means remain where you are, and vacation, which means to have a holiday. So you are basically going on holiday in your own country. And it is popular because we have lots of lovely places that you can visit in the UK. And sometimes you might stay at a nice hotel or a small cafe. Perhaps you are visiting another area and you receive very good service from the waiter or the waitress, and you might offer a tip. You give something extra. But it is very nice when you can do it. Palmyra. Ah, interesting. Palmyra says, once we stayed at a 5-star hotel. I'm impressed. Very impressed. And it was in Turkey. We even saw that there were 7-star hotels. I think, I might be wrong here because I've never been to the Middle East, but I believe that in certain parts of Saudi Arabia, maybe also Qatar, there are 7-star hotels. Very expensive place. Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, those sort of places, they often have very nice hotels. But I cannot afford to go there. I will be honest now. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to go to places like Saudi Arabia or any Middle Eastern country because it's too expensive. I can't afford it. I can't. Not on my very small YouTube allowance. I can't. Florence says, if I am very pleased with the person serving me, a waiter or waitress, I will always give a tip if they have given me good service. Well, of course, these days there are many ways of showing your appreciation for good service. There are many ways of showing your appreciation not only with money but also with your comments or your compliments. There are many websites nowadays that allow you to do the same thing. You can leave a comment about a place that you stayed at as well. But I think a lot of people prefer it if you leave a tip, a little bit of extra money. And the reason why this is often expected is because people working in the hotel industry or in the service industry, maybe serving food or working as a waiter or waitress or a busboy, which is something you often hear talked about in the United States. A busboy is a person who takes away all of the dishes and the plates after the customer has finished eating. So they are basically taking all of the dishes and the plates away from the table. They are handling all of the dirty plates and cutlery. But quite often, all of these types of jobs are not very well paid. You don't earn much money, and that is one of the reasons why tips are often given. Claudia says, my niece was a waitress in Denmark last year, and she received very good tips from American visitors. You might find that. I wonder, I know that I'm on very dangerous ground saying this. I might get into trouble. I might get into a lot of trouble here. Please don't take it personally. I wonder which nation is the most generous when it comes to giving tips. What have I done? Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should just forget about that completely. But I wonder which nation. I wonder if there is a nation or a nationality that is the most generous. So Claudia said that Americans, people from the USA, when they are travelling around the world, they are quite generous when they are giving tips. Hello, Duchess. My experience of a 5-star hotel was not very good. I went there for an interview so I could get happy. So I couldn't get happy. It was very tense. You felt nervous about the situation. So I've only stayed at a couple of nice hotels. Another one that I stayed at, once again connected to Mr. Steve's work, was, where was it? Oh, the Hilton Hotel in Manchester. If you've ever seen the Hilton Hotel, it is a very unusual building. It is a very thin, tall building, and I always think it looks as if it's going to fall over. So if you've ever seen the Hilton Hotel in Manchester, it's a very unusual looking building. And we were staying in one of the very high rooms near the top. The view was lovely, but I have to say I felt a little nervous because the building is very thin. It's very tall and thin. It's very unusual. You don't often see tall, thin buildings. But it was very nice. I think that was 4-star. I don't think it was 5-star. I think it only had 4 stars, to be honest. But no, I haven't stayed in many posh hotels in my life. I wish I could. I really do. It would be so nice. Can I say hello to... Oh, we have... Who else is here today? Manuel. Hello, Manuel. You are not Manuel from Fawlty Towers, are you? I wonder. The bill also includes meals, drinks, taxis and services. So tips are not compulsory in Spain. That is very interesting, and that was why I asked the question earlier. So if you go to a certain country, maybe you are not expected to actually give a tip. Can you hear the phone ringing? Or is it my imagination? I'm not sure. Hello to Inarki, who says, perhaps it has something to do with the wages that they are paid, or the personnel, or the people working there. I think so. Well, as I've said before, people who work in restaurants or cafes quite often don't receive very good salary. They don't. So they often need tips to... I wish somebody would answer that phone. Okay, it stopped now. That's annoying. So what about me? Do I ever leave tips? Sometimes, but unfortunately my tips are not very large, I'm afraid. So if you ever see me come into your restaurant or cafe, please don't expect a big tip from me. I will give a tip if the service is amazing and if I'm impressed. But my tip will not be as big as Mr. Steve's. Last week, Steve gave a very big tip to a lovely young lady who was serving us, and she was so lovely. In fact, we all said at the time she was very lovely, very young and really, really pleasant and charming and helpful. So Steve gave her £10. Amazing. So if you are really lucky, maybe one day you will get to see Mr. Steve in a cafe or restaurant or hotel. You are guaranteed a very big tip. Oh, Claudia says never stay in an apartment over the 10th floor because you will feel the wind. Well, I've heard this. Apparently very tall buildings do move. Only a very little bit. It's not a lot. So that the building isn't swaying from side to side like that. But if you stay in a very tall building, you can actually sometimes, maybe, perhaps, feel that the building is moving. Although I don't think that's true, to be honest. It might move a little bit, maybe just a couple of millimeters each way, but I'm not sure about feeling the movement. I've never stayed in a tall building where I could feel the building moving. And if it was moving, all I can say is I would get out of there very quickly. Pretty quickly. Alessandra is going now. See you later, Alessandra. Thank you for joining me today. We have been talking about leaving tips, gratuities. You leave some extra money to show your appreciation. Another thing a lot of people have been appreciating over the past few days. Have you been watching the tennis? The tennis is taking place at the moment in Wimbledon. Yes. Have you been watching it? Well, guess what? We have. And there it was. Well, that was not Wimbledon. Don't worry. That was Mr. Steve and myself playing tennis in the garden. Hello, everyone. Welcome to English Addict on Wednesday. And it's very nice to see you here today. Mika is going. See you later, Mika. You can, of course, watch the live stream, or at least the recording of the live stream, a little bit later on. I hope you will enjoy it. I hope you will. Sandra says, I love the video where you are playing tennis. Thank you very much. Florence says, is there a famous Swiss player, Roger Federer, at Wimbledon? I really don't know. He wasn't playing this year. No, there was no Roger Federer. No, he wasn't there. Nadal is there. I'm not sure how well he's doing, but last week when Steve was watching TV with his mum, and also I was there for most of the time. In fact, can I just say, last week I spent all of my time last week with Mr. Steve's mother. Almost all of the time, because Mr. Steve was going out to work and also to his rehearsals. So I spent a lot of time last week with Mr. Steve's mother, and we were watching the tennis. And apparently Roger Federer is Mr. Steve's mother's favourite tennis player. Apparently. Her most favourite tennis player. Hello, Sunny Shastra. Hello, Sunny. Nice to see you here today. I could do with some of your sunshine. To be honest, it would be ever so nice. Today we're looking at mouth idioms, and I thought it would be interesting to have a look at that because in the English language you might be surprised to find out just how many mouth idioms there are. There are quite a lot of them, and that's what we are going to look at now for the next few minutes. Mouth idioms and expressions is what we are looking at now. And there are lots of them, to be honest. And here is one example right now. To put your money where your mouth is. If you put your money where your mouth is, it means you are proving the thing that you are boasting about. So a person who is showing off or talking about their abilities, quite often you will have to prove that you can do it. Maybe a person says they are very good at a certain sport, or maybe they are good at playing a certain instrument. Maybe someone else will ask for proof. You have to show that what you are saying is something that you can really do. We are saying that you should put your money where your mouth is. You should prove that thing to be correct. So maybe I say, oh, I'm the greatest English teacher in the world. Someone might say, Mr. Duncan, you have to put your money where your mouth is. Now you have to prove the thing that you are talking about or saying is true. You have to put your money where your mouth is. Another very similar one, to be all mouth and trousers. A person who often says that they can do things, or maybe a person who talks about their abilities all the time, but they never show those abilities. They never prove their abilities. They are just talking. A person who just talks and talks about their abilities or the things they can do. They are always talking. They are all mouth and trousers. A person who just talks a lot about the things they can do. Here's another one. I like this one. This is one that I can definitely relate to. To put your foot in your mouth. Quite a lot of times in my life I have put my foot in my mouth. To say the wrong thing at the wrong time. You say something that is inappropriate, or maybe you say something that you should not be talking about. Maybe you reveal a secret that everyone else is trying to keep hidden away, but you reveal it by saying something. You reveal the secret. You might say that you put your foot in your mouth. You did something, you said something, and now there are problems because of what you said. You put your foot in your mouth. Here's another one. I like this one very much. Word of mouth. When we talk about word of mouth, we are talking about something that has it's become well known because of people talking about it. So quite often we think of advertising, publicity, but quite often you have to pay for that. And some people believe that the best type of publicity, if you want people to find out about your business, is to get people to talk about it. Word of mouth. Quite often that is the way people know about something or learn about something, through talking. Word of mouth. How did you find out about Mr. Duncan's YouTube channel? I found out through word of mouth. Someone told me about it. Here's another one. To mouth off at someone. If you mouth off, it means you are shouting or screaming or being abusive to someone. You are being rude to someone. Your words, the things you are saying, are rude and hurtful. You mouth off at someone. To show disrespect through what you say is also mouth off. Young people will often mouth off to their parents. They don't show any respect to their parents. Here's another one. To leave someone open-mouthed. If you leave a person open-mouthed, it means you leave them speechless or stunned. You leave a person open-mouthed. Maybe you say something, maybe you do something that makes another person shocked. You shock someone. You leave that person amazed. I can't believe it. I am open-mouthed. Can't believe that happened. Amazing. I can't believe that so many people resigned from the British government yesterday. I am open-mouthed. I'm shocked. I'm going to cough. Maybe. Maybe not. Something I haven't mentioned, by the way, my hay fever has almost gone. Now we are into July. My hay fever has almost gone. Here we go, another mouth idiom. To do something tongue-in-cheek. Tongue-in-cheek. Something you say or do that you don't really mean. Maybe you are joking. Maybe you are being sarcastic. Maybe you are just saying something, but you don't really mean it. You are doing it tongue-in-cheek. You don't really mean it. It is something that you are just pretending to do. Or maybe you are saying something because you want other people to find it funny. But it's not true. It's not real. It is something you are joking about. It is tongue-in-cheek. Here's another one. This one also is connected to your tongue. To bite your tongue, or to bite one's tongue, is to stop yourself from saying something that you will regret. Maybe there is something you want to say to another person because you feel angry towards them. You want to say something to them, but you know that that person would never forgive you. So you have to bite your tongue. You are stopping yourself from saying something that you might regret. You are making sure that you don't say the wrong thing. So you bite your tongue. It is often used figuratively or as an idiom. A person who is nervous, a person who is worried or scared might become tongue-tied or tongue-tied. You become nervous. You feel anxious about doing something. You will become tongue-tied. You don't know what to say because you are nervous. You have lost your nerve. You are afraid. You are scared. You become tongue-tied. You might tell someone to hold their tongue. You hold your tongue. You are telling that person to stop talking or to stop saying the things they are saying. Hold your tongue. Stop saying those things. You naughty person. You tell them to stop saying what they are saying, what they are talking about. Hold your tongue. Don't say it. Just keep it to yourself. Don't say what you want to say. Hold your tongue. Finally, we have to get or to set tongues wagging. A wagging tongue. We often use the word wag to mean talk. So a person is talking. But when we talk about tongues wagging, we are talking about people gossiping. They are talking to each other about another person's business or private life. Tongues are wagging. People are gossiping. If you gossip, it means your tongue is wagging. You are talking about someone, perhaps something private concerning another person. Gossip. Innuendo. You are saying something that may or may not be true, and that can create a lot of gossip. It will get lots of people tongue wagging. They will gossip. Their tongues will wag. And that's it. That is it for our mouth idioms. I know there are quite a few more as well. Quite a few more. Maybe we will cover those in another lesson. Hello to Create Teach. Hello, Create Teach. I like your name, by the way. That is very trendy. That is very stylish. Thank you very much for joining me today. There was a TV show apparently around in the early to late 1990s. And I'm going to share this with you very briefly before I go, because it is amazing the sorts of things that you can find on YouTube. All sorts of strange things. And I found a TV show that was made many years ago for children. And it's a very unusual show, but it is on YouTube. And the name of the program is Castello Ratimbum. I hope I pronounced that right. But apparently this was a TV show, very popular, made in Brazil, but also it was shown in other parts of South America as well. Very big in Brazil, apparently, this show. And it's a kids' show, and it concerns a small castle, as the name suggests. But it's no ordinary castle. Would you like to see the castle? Here it is. I don't think that's a real castle. I really don't think that's real. I think that might be a little plastic model. I'm not sure. Oh, come on, Mr. Duncan, don't ruin the fun. So in this show, there were people living in this castle, including this guy, Dr. Victor. Dr. Victor. He was a 3,000-year-old man. And apparently he was friends with Leonardo da Vinci. And he was played by a very famous actor, Sergio Mamberetti, apparently. And he, sadly, he died, I think, last year. A lot of people were talking about him last year. But he is one of the characters. He is a wise old wizard. And apparently he is 3,000 years old. And then we have the eternal child, Nino. Can I just say, I find this particular character really annoying. Yeah, he's quite annoying. That's all I'm going to say about him. But apparently he's 300 years old, but he still behaves like a child. I wonder if anyone knows this show. Does anyone remember this show? Castello Ratimbum, it's called. And here it is, the scariest cat you've ever seen. That is a scary looking cat. If that cat came to my window in the middle of the night, I think I would pee-pee and poo-poop my bed with fear. I think so, definitely. And finally, my favourite character, there were some children as well in the show, but they're really annoying. My favourite character must be this guy. He was the sentry on duty at the door, and he would pop out and he would talk to the visitors. But I don't know why. I'm strangely fascinated by this particular character. So there it was, the TV show that I discovered on YouTube called Castello Ratimbum. If you want to look it up, you can. Does anyone else remember it? Did anyone else watch it? Am I the only person that has seen this show since the 1990s? Apparently it was a very famous program shown all over the place, right across South America. And now I know all about it. And so do you. Thank you very much for your company. A lot of people here today. Claudia says, I have learned that the mouth has many meanings. We talk, we kiss, we eat, we put our feelings, or we express our feelings through our mouths. I think you're right. The mouth. It's a very interesting part of the body, I always think. It is one that is always on show. You can always see a person's mouth. Perhaps it is the part of the body that we are most self-conscious about or of. Some people have very big mouths. Some people have small mouths. And of course, you can't talk about the mouth without talking about teeth as well. So when you express yourself whilst you are talking or maybe smiling, the teeth are also part of your physical appearance. And I think a lot of people do worry about how this part of their body actually looks to other people. I think so. Pedro Belmont. Hello to Pedro Belmont. What are you talking about? I am talking about Castello Ratimbum. Apparently it was very popular in South America in the early 1990s. It is a very strange TV show, and you can find it on YouTube. There are actually episodes on YouTube. Hello to Cool Boy. Or should I say, Cool Boy. Hello, Cool Boy. Nice to see you here. Yes, I am going to say hello to you. Do you know a program called El Chavo? It was a very popular program from Mexico. I've never seen that, to be honest. Claudia says it is... Some people, when they're talking, they will cover their mouth because they think they have ugly teeth. Really? So now you know. I am going in a few moments. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. We've talked about a lot of things today. We've talked about tipping, giving extra money for good service. If you are in a cafe or a restaurant, maybe you will receive good service and then you want to show your appreciation by giving some money in return, which I think is lovely. Hello to Mary. Hello, Mary Fur. Nice to see you as well. By the way, I am back with you on Sunday. Mr. Steve will not be here on Sunday, unfortunately. There is no Mr. Steve on Sunday, but I will be here anyway. Thank you very much once again for your lovely messages concerning Mr. Steve's mother. Inaki asks, Mr. Duncan, what does shut your gob mean? Thank you very much for mentioning that. Gob. It's a great word, and it's used in British English, and it means mouth. It is a slang word for mouth. Gob. It's a great word. So if you tell someone to shut their gob, you are telling them to be quiet. Quite often used when a person is angry. Shut your gob. Here. Don't you say that. Don't you say that to me. Shut your gob. Another term we can use is cake hole for your mouth as well. We can say cake hole. A person's cake hole is their mouth. That is another British word or British slang term that we use to describe a person's mouth. It is. There is an interesting expression in English as well. A person might bite off more than they can chew. If a person bites or bites off more than they can chew, it means you have undertaken a task or something you are trying to do which is too much for you. You can't do it. You don't have the ability. You don't have the strength to do it. You bite off more than you can chew. That means you are trying to do something that you are not capable of doing. You bite off more than you can chew. Shut your gob is shut your mouth. Yes, we often use that in British English. That is it. It is almost time to say goodbye. I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Something I didn't show you in the garden today. Would you like to have a look? Look at that. That is one of the bird feeders in the front garden. And if you look very closely, you can see there are lots of birds coming down, feeding. And that is a live view in the garden right now, looking out of my studio window. But yes, the birds are very busy at the moment. There are lots of young birds, young chicks, flying around. They have all recently left the nest. And that is what you can see now. A final view before we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Very nice. And now it is time for me to say goodbye. From myself and also Boris. Who knows? Boris might not have a job on Sunday. So maybe Boris will be here with me on Sunday, presenting the live stream. Who knows? Thank you very much for your company. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed all of this today. And as I've already said, and I will say it again for the last time, thank you for your lovely messages concerning Mr. Steve's mum. I do appreciate all of your lovely words. It's time to say goodbye. As I said, Sunday, Wednesday, 2 p.m. UK time is when I'm with you live on YouTube. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and also enjoy the rest of the week. And I will see you on Sunday. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching. Thank you for joining me today. You can watch this again with captions as well if you want to. There will be captions later on. And of course, until the next time we meet, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Stay happy. Take care of yourself, please. And of course, ta-ta for now.